Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Not Fancy League. As always, I'm Rob.
And I'm Tyler.
And we are coming at you, post-week 11? Is that even correct? Post-week 11?
10. Post-week 10.
Post-week 10. Oh, man, I'm going to get ahead of myself. Coming at you post-week 10, double digits. And let's just go straight into our standings update, but not a standings update. It's going to be our power ranking CFB committee. This was Tyler's idea. Tyler, try to explain this.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, because we already have the playoffs kind of set with, record. But I was like, what if we did it more how college football does it? Where it's, it's based on your record, but it's also, how good your team is itself, you know? One-loss team is still in there, even though, a TCU might be kicked out, or for instance. You see what I mean by that?
Yeah, it's kind of like a power ranking, and then the top four are guys that are in. We'll go through 1 through 10 so everyone can actually see where they're all at.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just kick it off with our inaugural. I don't know what we call this. Let's call it something right now. Tyler, what's your idea?
The CFB NFL.
The rankings. That's just the rankings. Here we go. Rankings.
All right.
Bam. Rankings.
All right. At number one, it's pretty obvious. He has the best roster, or maybe best roster, but has the best record by at least 2 games. You just got to give Rock Springs Football Club the nod here. Any thoughts?
Yeah, they're just by far in a way here. They actually almost had a down week this week. Even sustaining injuries and poor performances, still going to win 8-2. They're number 1. Number 2, we're going to go on the other side, the other division, and I'm going to go with, where's Demarco Murray? Currently sitting at number 2, really, really hot right now, keeps getting wins. Justin Fields kind of made a big difference for his team because he just keeps looking good.
Yeah, I kind of, you 1 and 2 is kind of easy because it's kind of like Big Ten and SEC. The winners of those are going to be in. So it's like Georgia, well, maybe LSU, but Georgia and then Ohio State or Michigan. Mm-hmm. They're both guaranteed in. And now it's kind of where it gets a little confusing, or not confusing, but dicey as to who he gets in. For number 3, we went with post-Dookie Lamar just because his wide receiver depth is so good, and he just has a lot of weapons, especially through running backs.
Yeah, just all those different quarterbacks. Currently has 4 quarterbacks. I complained to him about it today that he just decided to pick up Trey Lance, which, people can do whatever they want, but 4 quarterbacks, a lot of quarterbacks. So going in at number 4, I'm going to go with Fields of Dreams at number 4. Even though currently Squigs is in the playoffs, if you look at the records and the head-to-heads, Squigs is in. I still think the Fields of Dreams team is overall better, and that might just be because they have Justin Jefferson. I think Justin Jefferson's pretty good. You might be able to ride a guy like that through a playoff, couple wins.
Yeah, so this is maybe gets a little dicey, and tune out in the comments what your college football playoffs would look like. But yeah, I think he has, awesome receivers, awesome running backs. If Roger gets back to who he is, they'll be very secure. And Kirk Cousins is always a solid point, even though he's kind of been struggling, not being the top 12 like he usually is. Mm-hmm. For number 5, Rob, who did we go for here? We went for Squigs here, right? Correctly?
Yeah, Squigs there, so it's all those teams all in that same division, all right there. Squigs is your guy looking out right now, but officially he is in the playoffs right now on head-to-head. I'm not quite sure who he beat. He is officially in right now, but I think in these last couple of weeks he'll get separated out. Going into the team below that, we're going to go with the team that's lost 5 games in a row, 5-5, Team Air, sitting at 5-0, 5-5.
Yeah, give the second place in the West a nod after going most of the East. And, there's still a team there. He got 5 wins. He went 5-0, so there's still somebody there. Let's see what maybe we can pull it back, see what happens.
Yeah.
Going from there, it's getting a little decisive between either you or your father. We went with, I believe, you.
No, we went with
we went with him because he
beat me this week. He beat me this week, so he's officially ahead of me. Head-to-head record, just a better team. My team is falling apart right now. So he's there, and then I'm a tick below him. I'm at, what is that, number 8.
Yeah, you're at 8.
He's 7, I'm 8.
Yeah. And then I'm at 9 with the second. The last 2 are kind of explanatory, which is 2 worst records, and fighting for that first pick.
Yeah,
Be interesting.
Danger Witch 9, Team Velocity 10. even though team classes look really, really good, if it was a power ranking, I think he'd be much higher. But he is currently sitting there at 10, only the 2 wins. Yeah. So let's. We do have a league announcement after this. Team Ayers lost a 7th round pick because he started Justin Tucker. So you lose your pick next year, Adrian, because you kept him. I guess you were like Justin Tucker. Hopefully, he's one of your 10 guys that you keep. Otherwise, that was completely pointless. So yeah, you lost a 7th round pick.
Justin Tucker might be a difference maker in the playoffs, and then it'll be worth it because if you dropped him and then
so we'll see.
Really big
and you got to make the playoffs first, Adrian, as well.
And then do you hear
and
that?
Then, that's right. We do have a trade between both of us, so we're not really gonna know how to grade this. But pretty much, I just took some running backs that I wasn't really sure what they were anymore. I guess I might have sold high on Rachaad White. I don't totally know. I guess at this point you've already seen it. But yeah, I don't like. What were your thoughts on the trade, Tyler?
I was actually quite surprised you were offering off J.K. Dobbins was like the main guy because I was wanting what's his name, Rachaad White, Tampa, because I've seen how playoff Leonard Fournette has been. He wasn't even the starter last game, but then he started actually getting more carries as the game went on. But then he got picked up that injury. But now they have a bye. Be interesting if Rachaad White takes that first one. And I also saw a stat he had like the most broken tackles that week.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, so there's a guy in there. So I wanted to figure out who he was. And then J.K. Dobbins, I don't know. Everybody always wants J.K. Dobbins. I was like, why not get on my team? Maybe he'll eventually be something. But
yeah, maybe
he needs to stay healthy.
Something. And then for me, I thought Claypool had upside. I think the better Fields gets, the better he'll get. And then I currently own, right now, 4 picks in the first 14. So I got a lot of chances to get young guys next year to see what the draft is like. 4 of the first 14 picks I currently have.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. How that play out, but yeah, I think that was a good trade. I also thought maybe a conspiracy might going after I made this trade, because who's that Texas running back that you were talking about?
Bijan Robinson. Yeah.
I thought you traded me both those guys for I wouldn't go Bijan because now I have way too many running backs.
But he still might go Bijan, so we'll see.
Yeah,
I have an interesting strategy. I have an interesting strategy for what I'm gonna do with my pick. It's gonna be interesting.
Your first pick?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm not disclosing any information because we are in a full tank off right now, so we don't know who's going to be below who. All right, so moving on to our L of the week. Tyler, you can start.
Yeah, the man himself, A.J. Brown. He was fantastic. I mean,
I thought that was all sarcasm.
Yeah, it was partially sarcasm. I was looking at prior week's notes where 2 weeks ago he was the MVP.
He was the MVP of the week. Yeah, he had 3 touchdowns.
Now he was I was looking. Remember the good times. The L of the week with 1.6 points was A.J. Brown. Really wish Blassie could have gotten the win there. He just needed A.J. Brown to get a couple passes from Jalen Hurts more and glad Blassie another win, which helped me for the tanking. But yeah, it was just not a good week for him.
Yeah, that was really, really tough. He legitimately, if he has 5 points, I think he gets that victory. And A.J. Brown couldn't even do that on Monday night. I think the Eagles as a whole just kind of took an L this week. No one saw that coming. The Commanders going out and actually getting that win. I'm gonna go with my L of the week, Cooper Kupp. Everyone thought he was gonna be fine, and then he was thrown on IR. It's a big hit for the Rock Springs Football Club. Kind of the wrong time to be losing a guy like that. Maybe he comes back for the playoffs, but he has a little bit of wiggle room. But that's a big deal to lose. He's pretty talented.
Them being so bad this year, there's talks that they'll probably just shut him down because if they can't make the actual playoffs, there's no reason to rush him back, especially for fantasy playoffs.
Yeah.
Just rushing back for that. So it probably might be a season ender, which really sucks because I think he was a number 2 or 3 receiver overall.
I think he was number 3. I think he had the number 1 receiver in Tyreek Hill, number 3 receiver in Cooper Kupp. He just looked really good, and he has enough pieces, but the receivers are not going to be on that quite same level. For my MVP of the week, I'm going to go back-to-back MVPs, Justin Fields. He just put up another great rushing performance, scored a bunch of touchdowns again, almost hit 40 points. A big reason why where's Demarco Murray is currently number 2 in our rankings. He looks really, really good.
Yeah, no, he was amazing. It's so fun to watch a good quarterback for the Bears.
Yeah, it is.
I'm very excited. For my guy, I'm going to go the man who picked off an own reception, Justin Jefferson. really balled out.
Yeah.
Made a highlight play, Odell-esque. I would put it in the same tier as that catch from Odell. But yeah, he just had a great game. I think he had 33 points. It was something crazy.
He almost had more.
35 points.
He almost had another touchdown there at the end.
That was just insane.
I could just see him going on a run here for a little bit. Like, that's like a big confidence boost game. Like, no one can guard that guy. Where he might like do kind of what Odell did, where it's just all of a sudden he's unguardable. You can't stop this guy. So let's just go straight into our Week 10 recap. Let's start with this first game here: the Rock Springs Football Club versus the Danger Witch. Not really much of a game here. Danger Witch kind of going full tank mode. Just not a lot going well for your team, I would say.
No, not great. I saw some promise though through some of my young running backs, which was encouraging, and Christian Kirk balled out. He's a top 10 receiver, which is so wild because I remember I'm hand up. I was talking crap in the offseason, paying him $70 million. I was not expecting him to be this good. I am wrong. Shout out to Christian Kirk. Gained 31 points, being a number 7 receiver on the season. But again, I took a fat L, so it doesn't really matter. And Rock Springs Football Club just showed out. Didn't do too crazy, but got enough against the taking team.
Yeah, and then it was like I said, it was just enough. Cooper Kupp's gonna hurt. So moving on to our next game here, we got the Standard versus Money Manziel. We're just gonna get these two absolute stinker games out of the way here. I got screwed so hard by the Sam Ellinger thing. That hurt really, really badly. I don't know what Jess's idea was. No, because if you want to lose a pick, I will lose a pick. The league can decide. But the news broke 3 minutes after the game started that he wasn't going to start.
Okay.
So I couldn't really do anything about it at that point. And I don't think it would have made a difference anyway. My team, other than that, was terrible. Gabe Davis caught a touchdown. Deontay Foreman's pretty good. Everybody else just really doesn't do anything.
No, it's nice that Trevor Lawrence, he seems like he's going back onto the good train. He had like first 4 games doing well, then got a little slump. Starting putting something together. Being the second best quarterback in his draft class is a nice thing to hang your hat on.
That's something, I guess.
Going to a third game with Blasi, almost upset of the year we had almost here. Talked about a little bit with the A.J. Brown L of the week, but post Dookie Lamar getting his first win with the new name change, 154 to Blasi's 147. Lamar, I mean, it's crazy how just casually he's just dominating the sport.
Yeah, it's Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, it is crazy how he just puts up numbers and no one really even cares. I was like, he had 4 touchdowns. Yeah, I guess that's a thing. It's just what Mahomes does week in, week out. He looks really, really good. I think he's got to be the number 1 quarterback now because Josh Allen's
he is.
Yeah. So that looks good. Things are looking fine for post Dookie Lamar. The only thing is Team Blasi here really actually looks good, and they might end up losing this number 1 pick because they're going to keep winning games because their team looks so good.
Yeah, I mean, having Cole Kmet going back-to-back multi-touchdown games, I always said he was an okay tight end, and now it's turning out that he might be even good to go okay tight end.
Might even be good.
Going to our 4th game, where this game caused switch into the playoffs position.
Yeah. This was our game of the week here. It was where's Demarco Murray versus Team Arias, and Team Arias kind of had an all-around good team performance. You just can't really do anything when Justin Fields drops 40 points, Devontae Adams puts up almost 30. Like, it was just really, really big performances from a couple of players, and where's DeMarco Murray?
Yeah, I mean, going against a playoff for a playoff spot and not starting a full lineup against a kicker is an interesting strategy, to say the least. But again, I don't think a kicker would have mattered. I don't know if there was any kicker that got 20 points.
There was some this week that put up double digits. I know there was a good chunk of double-digit kicker points.
But yeah, and then Fields is quickly going to become one of those like the James Conner, the who else? The Eckler of the first season. It's one of these guys late in the season. Elijah Mitchell, just like these league winners went halfway through the season coming out.
Yeah.
I guess some of those guys weren't halfway through the season, but still just unknown entities for fantasy and then coming out and balling. Yeah. Going to our what is an awesome game. Going Field of Dreams versus Team Squigs. Team Squigs getting a close one, 124 against the 122. Stephon Diggs and Jonathan Taylor, which is nice to see him
he
getting
actually
some 31
did something.
touches or something.
Yeah, it was a ton. Like, he actually just came back and was what he was last year, where he's just running the ball constantly. And then for Fields of Dreams, Josh Jefferson went crazy. Nobody else really stepped up. I was texting Nate about doing different trades. And I was like, why is Debo on your bench? Are you not interested in Debo anymore? And he realized that he messed up, and he wouldn't have quite won. It would have been significantly closer even if he started Debo. It would have been like 124.4 to 124 if he started Debo, but it was just almost enough to actually get that victory. First loss in 6 games for Fields of Dreams. They were on
we
fire.
We cursed it from last week.
We definitely brought it up, and that's a good reason probably why he lost by 2 points.
Yeah. So sorry about that, Nathan. But, just bounce back, see what happens there. Now we got ourselves an Egg Bowl update. Me and Rob, again, each respectively went 4-1, keeping the spread of 6 eggs at Robert's head.
6 eggs, yeah.
Yeah. Now the records are me with 27-8 to Rob's 21-14. Any update on the Egg Bowl? Any thoughts?
No, just it's coming along. Let's just go straight into these games. So we got the Rock Springs Football Club versus Team Blossy. I think it's kind of obvious. We're all going to ride Rock Springs Football Club. That's what I think you're doing.
Yes, that is what I'm doing. Just taking the best team.
Yeah. And just, I'm going to go kind of quickly through these.
Okay.
Squigs versus the Standard. I'm going to go with Squigs. He needs to get a win this week in order to stay in this playoff race. So I'm going to say that he does, and he wins this week.
I'm going to go the Standard. I think they're going to get a win this week.
All right. The Danger Witch versus Team Arius. I'm going to go with Team Arius. He breaks the losing streak. I don't have any faith in your team.
No, I don't either. I literally can't roster a full lineup because I have so many injuries or buys, but we'll see what happens. So, yeah, Team Arius is an easy one there.
Yeah, and then where's Demarco Murray versus Money Manziel? I think we're beyond the same one over here as well. I'm going to go with where's Demarco Murray, one of the hottest teams, versus me, who I would like to get Bijan Robinson as well. So, take for the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I would go DeMarco too.
Yeah, and then
the game of the week here.
Last game, game of the week, big deal over here. Fields of Dreams versus Post Dookie Lamar. This one has playoff implications. Currently, Fields of Dreams is on the outside looking in. Post Dookie Lamar is in the playoffs. One of these teams wins. They're not necessarily secured in the playoffs, but it's going to go a long way in making sure that one of these teams is actually in the playoffs. Because you get to take down one of those 3 teams fighting for 2 spots.
Yeah. Who are you going with?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, okay.
Ahead.
You want me? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go Field of Dreams. So then you're going to go Post Dookie?
No, I'm not taking Post Dookie Lamar. I'm going to go Field of Dreams as well. I'm not going to take Post Dookie Lamar here in protest of the Trey Lance thing for a couple weeks.
All right. Yeah, taking your high horse with an egg in your face. I like it.
All right.
All right, now we got a special guest.
Yeah, so we're going to go over to our interview with Nathan, Theo's brother, of the 2 brothers. So here is the interview. All right, we are here with Nathan of Field of Dreams, currently in the combination of 6 and 4 teams in his division fighting for a playoff spot right now. So just to start us out, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you started playing fantasy football.
I started playing fantasy football, must have been in like the 8th or 9th grade. I thought it's a fun way to add an extra dimension to my Sundays. And as you may guess from the name of my team, I do represent the Chicago Bears. So my team's terrible. So it increases the chance that I get to enjoy a W on Sundays.
Yeah, that is actually a pretty good way to think about that, because there was definitely some days where I'm rooting more for my fantasy team than the Bears because there's nothing there. There's nothing I'm rooting for.
Yep.
How did you get into becoming a Bears fan? Because you're not from Illinois, are you?
No, not at all. I started watching football. It was around 2012, and if you recall, the 2012 year was that tail end of that one great Bears defense.
Yeah.
And I remember I saw the highlight of a game where they played the Jaguars, and they just smoked them like 59-3. They could not stop. The defense couldn't stop taking it to the end zone. I thought it was the coolest thing. I got really into it, and I really like the identity. I like the identity of that hard-nosed defense. It does get old after a while.
Yes.
Watching some really low-scoring games. Like there's only so many 17-10s a man can stomach, but
There's a lot of those. There's a lot of those over the years, and you always lose too. It's always 7-10 you lose because you can't score. And then this is the first time ever the Bears have gone over like 3 times in a row because they can't play defense and they got a real quarterback. This is crazy.
It's a whole new era.
It's reverse Bears football now, except they still lose. So
yeah, pretty much. All right. So we're gonna throw your team up right here just so everybody can see it. So take us through your draft strategy, what you were thinking as things went along. I think you do have arguably the best receiver in the league right now, probably the best receiver right now. But other than that, like, what were you looking at going into this draft?
Yeah, I pretty much approached it really similarly to how I would approach a draft for a normal league, definitely trying to set myself up for this year. I erred on the side of younger players when that became an option, so that was definitely what had me take Justin Jefferson as a big deal pick. It was a lot of trying to maximize this year because I thought that the best chance to win it, the things I know the most, I know about this year, and you know, football is unpredictable over time.
Yes, that is true.
With some of my players, I could certainly see how that might bite me in future years, but we're going balls to the wall right now.
Yeah, I believe. Oh, sorry. What were you going to say, Tom?
I was going to say, I think it's just a nice strategy because there's a lot of guys we talk to always trying to build, like, Robin Ayers teams are just built completely for the future.
Full tank, yeah.
But it's nice that, like, some people like you and, like, Alex VanDoren's team, Demarco Murray's, like, just try and just win this year team. And worry about, like, next year when it's there.
Yeah, I remember talking to Theo during the draft because I'd never been in a Dynasty League draft before. So I texted him, I talked to Jared, I was like, yo, what are these guys doing? Like, why did Amon-Ra St. Brown just come off the board in the second
Adrian.
round?
That's just
like,
Adrian. The worst was
like,
T.J. Hawkinson. That one made no sense.
There was some stuff that scared me, and then it was a little bit like baiting me. Because, dude, I keep seeing these guys taking what I see as lower tier players in the early rounds that leaves, the Alvin Kamaras and the Austin Ecklers right there for me. Mm-hmm. And so I would have felt really pretty dumb if I didn't pounce on those.
Yeah. I believe you were the highest draft grade I gave out in our first ever video. 'Cause
I was the only A.
I liked the fact that you had some young, talented players and players wanting to win now. I thought you were kind of set up for success in a couple of years to come. Alvin Kamara is not as good as I thought he was going to be. I kind of thought he had one more year left in his tank. He had like one good game all year so far, other than that he doesn't do anything.
Well, I think that he's got years in the tank. He's not old. The Saints are just a mess. The Saints aren't very good. If you're a defense playing the Saints, there's one guy you got to key in on. If you can stop him, then you're going to win the game.
You're right, because Chris Olave is that good. He's a very talented player. So
Chris Olave is good, but it comes down to 41.
Yeah, no, that is very true. I picked Olave. He might be my favorite player on my team just because he puts up consistent numbers and he's so young. Which that's my only thought process when I'm doing stuff. But yeah, I was saying too. It was in the early part of the video. I think Justin Jefferson's about to go on a run right now. He's going to put up crazy numbers. Like that was a confidence game last week for him to go get a big deal catch like that. Like I think Justin Jefferson feels more unguardable than he already did.
I think a big part of my strategy was the Kirk Cousins Justin Jefferson stack. I'm a big fan of the quarterback receiver stack. That's won me leagues before. Because every time Justin Jefferson does something crazy, I'm getting double points for it.
Yeah. It's also nice because they re-signed Kirk. He had the little stability for a little while now. Going into the playoffs, you feel, because you kind of got like a three-way clog for like the last couple of playoff spots. Mm-hmm. Do you feel confident heading into it?
I'm a little bit concerned going into it, only because of my schedule. Three 3 of my last 4 opponents are also 6-4, and I've got where's Demarco? I've got post Dookie Lamar this week.
Yeah, that's a big deal game. Yeah,
that's a nice team with pretty juicy matchups.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm a little concerned. There's really low margin for error at this point. If you draft a team to win now and don't make the playoffs, you're not set up super well.
Yeah, that is true. And the thing is, someone's gonna miss it. It's gonna be either you, Derek, or post Dookie Lamar is gonna end up missing it. Because I think Theo cemented himself. Like Theo's all the way in. He's 8-2. But
yeah,
like the fact that you guys have all stuck together all year. No one separated themselves for like 1 week. Everyone just keeps sitting there. So I don't know if you knew this. So on week 14, there's going to be the catch-up week, which is where the lowest rated team gets to pick who they want to play. The second lowest rated team gets to pick who they want to play, and so on. So it's like you guys are going to be playing head to head. Like I think it's going to come down to that last week, that last playoff spot, and hopefully you're in the right spot for it. Like I think like the way this is shaping up, it's going to come down to that last week. So just be on the lookout for that. That's week 14.
Yeah, I think that my team can compete with anyone on any given week. If I would have to check, but I don't know if I played Theo during my first 3 weeks. I don't know if that was a loss or a win, but no, I'm actually that would have to be a double check. I'm not confident enough to say that I beat Theo, but any given week, I've got a lot of players that can really pop. I've had some poor injury luck. I just ran into some more poor injury luck with Dallas Goedert. That was really a pretty significant blow, and it kind of lost me my game this week.
Kind of, yeah.
Just barely. I went to sleep feeling pretty confident in that one, and then I woke up and I lost. It would be a big deal for David Njoku to get healthy and start producing.
Yeah, because you have George Kittle there too, and he's just been hurt all year, not doing anything right.
Normally,
anything else? Oh, sorry, what?
Normally, I try and avoid drafting guys with injury concerns, but where I got Kittle, it was really hard to pass up. Yeah. Getting big points from tight end is a really sneaky way to get some wins, especially because of how thin and inconsistent tight end play is. Yeah, that's why I have 3 tight ends on my roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting at 1, but it's Mark Andrews, so I'm a fan of my Mark Andrews guy. He was hurt for a little bit, but he's good when he plays.
Yeah.
I don't got anything else. Charlie, do you got any more questions?
I think that's all. I think that's all we had. Did you have any questions about the league?
Not questions, but I'd love to put out a trade feeler if we can do that.
I like it.
Go ahead. Hold on. This is a segment. It's called Guys in the Block. Guys in the Block. Go ahead.
Guys on the Block.
I need help at receiver. I'm pretty struggling for receiver, so please stop asking me to trade Justin Jefferson. It's not going to happen. But I've got David Montgomery and Ezekiel Elliott are both definitely on the block. I'd part with Alan Lazard and a running back for someone a little bit better. I'd trade Aaron Rodgers for an offer. I don't really know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. He popped a little bit this week, but
he's confusing.
I don't know where that's going week to week for a wide receiver who I can count on for consistent numbers. I've got Justin Jefferson and Deebo Samuel, but I could use a little more help. I'm pretty deep at running back, so another receiver would go a very long way for me.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm sitting on 6 receivers currently, but I'm in wait and see mode on my 6 receivers because they're all like 24. But so there you go, guys in the block.
And you guys this league is quick with the waivers, man. There is never anybody in there, man. I can't find anybody.
It's a very active league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I found anything I like on the waivers all year.
Yeah, well, I think the only good one. I'm sorry, what?
No, I mean it's definitely been a wild one, and now I can't pick up anybody because I have 0 fab, so I have to wait till Thursday to pick people up because I can't outbid anybody.
Yeah, I misunderstood how the bid system worked, so I think I threw all my money away on one guy early in the year.
Yes,
and I couldn't tell you who it was, so that shows you how successful it was.
Yeah, I think like in 1 week you spent like $80 on like 2 guys. It was all gone so fast.
Yeah, not familiar. I've never been in a dynasty league before, so there's
Yeah.
definitely some things that I'm new to.
Yeah, I don't think anyone ever has been. I think every single person in the league has not been in a dynasty league before. And
Well,
the only person who had used a fab system was Tyler, and then Tyler ran out of money first. So
Yeah, there was not a real meta, and I realized it pretty quickly.
yeah. All right. Yeah. So I don't got anything else. We're gonna wrap up this interview here. We're at about 12 minutes. So yeah. Thanks for coming
Gotcha.
on. And best
Thanks
of
for
luck
having me.
on getting the playoffs.
Yeah, best of luck on the stretch run, fellas.
Yeah. Let's go.